Hi everyone, I'm making corn crackers, dehydrated crackers, so we can have them with a raw dip, and these help us to remain raw when we're eating raw. Otherwise we just eat fruit and a few veggies and salads. Right now I've just made up a batch of this mix, and I've just laid out two here on the bench, and I'm just doing the third one now, and these are going to be our crackers. So you just need to smooth it out on the paper like this, as thinly as you can without too many gaps, because the gaps are a bit of a problem when you're breaking the biscuits up. So I've just used some non-stick cooking paper on my dehydrated tray, because I didn't have any Teflon sheets. I have been told that Teflon sheets might not be the best things, that there is some issue with whether the Teflon might be poisonous, or it might have something in it. It's like Teflon is a Teflon product, and there's a lot of speculation about Teflon products, exactly how healthy they are. So I've chosen to use this paper, and as you can see, I'm just smoothing it out. I didn't have quite enough to go right out to the edges on this one. If you leave little thin patches, it makes the crackers quite difficult to break up, and a bit too thin. So I've already laid out two. There's this one and this one. And what I do next, when I get this right, it takes a little bit of patience, but I'm not a terribly patient person, so if I can do it, most people probably can too, I reckon. So I'm just going to push that one aside, because this is a better one to demonstrate on. Now what I do next is I just score lightly through the middle of it, diagonally, and then across in a big X, like that, and then straight down like that, and straight across, and we're gradually getting some triangular shapes going, and then across the middle of each square, like that, as you can see that. And then you've got crackers. You've got, well, there's 4 in each of these. They're quite large ones. I mean, you can make smaller ones by going across the middle again, like that. And that makes them half that size, or you can keep them large, whatever suits you. Anyway, now these are going to go into my dehydrator, and I'm going to dehydrate them for 12 hours on 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and by then they'll be fairly well dried out, but then they need to be, the whole sheet will come away in one piece, and you can just flip it over and put it back in the dehydrator and give it another maybe 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, and make sure it's completely dried out. Otherwise it could rehydrate. If you don't dry it out enough, it could be a problem. So I'm going to show you the finished product when I'm done. I just made some raw corn crackers, and it was really easy, I have to say. If you've got a dehydrator, you can even do it without a dehydrator. I'm sure you could do it in the oven if you just follow the instructions. But now I'm just going to break them into crackers so that we can eat them. It was very easy. It was 2.5 cups of corn. I used fresh corn. I'm not sure about any other sort of corn, but I used fresh corn, and there was also, let me look at my recipe. There was a 1/4 cup of ground linseed in it, and a 1/4 cup of water, and salt. Yeah. It's also nice if you put some herbs in it. I actually put some Italian herbs into this, and they tasted really nice. So if you've got a herb preference, you can use that. So I've made 3 sheets of them, and this is how the sheet looks. I scored it before I left them to dehydrate because it's much harder to break them up if you don't do that. So I'm hoping that helps someone who would like to make these. And they're great to use with avocado or a raw dip. The one thing I forgot to mention was I blended it. The first lot I did, they were a bit rougher, and you could see the corn quite obviously in the cracker. So I blended them a little bit more to make them smoother, and I actually used these kitchen paper. I'm not sure, it's a non-stick kitchen paper that I've used on the trays because I didn't have any of those Teflon sheets and for this particular dehydrator, and that worked really well. They didn't stick and they came off easily. You dehydrate them for about 12 to 14 hours on one side and then flip them over, and they flip over easily. You just have to raise the whole sheet and turn it. And I did that for I think about another 4 or 5 hours. They seem to have worked really well, so I'm hoping that your attempts will be successful too.